welcome back, my beautiful souls. Today we're back with another daily tarot card reading. Let's see what Spirit has in store for you today. All right, here are the cards that Spirit gave to us. Let's get into what each of these are and what they mean. So we have the Three of Swords upright, the Fool in reverse, and the Page of Swords upright. Starting with the Three of Swords. This card represents the intersection of our hearts and our intellect. Since it's upright, there's no pussyfooting around this one. There's emotional pain on the horizon, a piercing of the heart. It hurts and there's nothing to do but feel the feelings. Make time to cry. Yowl even. You can't heal until you get it out. Remember, pain is something necessary for growth. Interesting. Hmm. It feels like you're having a fight with your heart and your brain. Okay. Then we have the Fool in reverse. All right. The Fool is like a cat forced to wear accessories. We all feel foolish sometimes. Since it's reversed in this position, the Fool reminds us not to overthink matters. In general, things are what they look like, and we shouldn't pretend they're not. A beautiful day is a beautiful day, and no occasion to wear a fleece hat. Take responsibility for that. All right. I'm getting more pieces of the story. Looks like you were fighting with your brain and your heart, and then it looks like you need to do some healing, that you've been repressing some emotions in the past, and now it seems like you're still kind of repressing them. Hmm. Don't pretend that you're not hurting when you actually are hurting, is what I'm getting. And taking responsibility of your choices was telling me that you have yet to release those emotions. And with the future card, let's see a little bit more of the story. So, the Page of Swords is a reminder to stay on your toes. Since it's upright, the page may be a bit jumpy, but it's hard to contain this level of energy. Who knows what's around the next corner? It could be a nice treat or a formidable foe. Either way, that cunning sense of curiosity is going to insist that you find out. All right. Honestly, what I got from this card is that you're guarding your heart a lot more in the future, or you're going to be guarding yourself a bit more in the future. Mm. But overall, it seems like you have a lot of repressed feelings and emotions that you need to let out. Maybe you're fighting against like a career choice, like maybe your heart wants to do this other thing, but your brain says realistically we can't do that. Like like with careers, mostly like college students where they say they want to pursue art, but they know that it wouldn't be as successful as like if they were to do engineering, but they wouldn't enjoy it. I'm getting like a sense of kind of like that, like you're fighting against something. Your heart says yes, but your brain says no because it's trying to be logical, but your heart is like, but that'd be so much fun. And you're repressing that. You're repressing that to the point where you don't even realize it anymore. Is what I'm getting. And in the future it looks like you're just going to be protecting your heart more or maybe even trying to ignore it even more. Hmm. It does look like your next steps are to maybe go into a quiet room, maybe go to your favorite cafe, maybe go outside in the grass, or go into a very quiet room in your home, dim the lights, and do some self reflecting. A lot of people tend to be scared to do self reflecting or like meditation where you're alone with your thoughts. But 9 times out of 10, it's the only way your true self can speak what it needs. Because we're so caught up in the day to day life that we don't really give ourselves the chance to, well, tell ourselves what we need. And that's why a lot of people do journaling. Maybe some journaling would be good for you as well. Mhm. Some journaling, meditation, just really try to figure out what you need. Especially with the journaling part, you'll realize that after you journal a couple times and you read it back, you'll see you repeat yourself a lot and what you need. So that's a great tool to figure out what emotions need to be released or what you need. Because it looks like with the present, with the full card, it looks like you kind of deep down you're repressing stuff, but you don't want to acknowledge it. And spirit's saying you have to acknowledge it at some point. Hmm. Yeah. It looks like you really are just ignoring your heart and you're sticking too much to what your brain says. But like I said, you should really try to figure out what it is exactly you're pushing away and you're repressing. And great tools would be journaling and meditation and just sitting and being by yourself and thinking. Don't distract yourself, don't doom scroll, don't just go out with friends every single day trying to distract yourself. Granted, it is good to will do those things occasionally, but it also is bad to ignore what you really need. You're afraid of facing what you've been repressing for so long. But spirit wants you to know that it'll be okay. You just need to focus on figuring out what you've been repressing. And some of you might even know exactly what you're repressing just by hearing this reading. You probably immediately thought of what you've been repressing and you feel guilty. And that's okay. You just need to address it. You need to address it as soon as you can. That's what spirit is saying. So you in order to move on and feel relieved, you need to address these repressed emotions and feelings. Or this situation that's had you in such a big it's oh, it's had you in such a chokehold that you feel stuck and you can't move until you figure it out, but you can't decide because you keep repressing it and you keep pushing it off and you're like, "Oh, it's fine, it's fine. I'll deal with it another day. I'll deal with it another day." And then this cycle continuously repeats to the point where you're stuck, you're frozen, you don't know what to do. And spirit is just saying, take responsibility of these feelings, of these thoughts, and try to figure out a way. Of course, some of you may not know exactly what this is, but you feel it as well. And that's why the journaling thing might be a very helpful tool to help you understand what you're trying to get past or what you've been repressing subconsciously. And so would meditation as well. Um, with the future card, it looks like you will eventually figure it out, but you will be more on guard. Mm. It also looks like you'd be a bit more scared or you'd be nervous in the future, which makes sense because if you're feeling this confused and I don't know what the word would be the best, but like this situation has you in such a chokehold that you are afraid to move. You're feeling stuck. So in the future, you still feel a little on edge. I kind of want to see if Spirit would give us another card to clarify that card and see what else the future would hold if you were able to overcome this and actually address what you've been repressing. Let's see. Spirit, please clarify that last card for me. Oop, too many cards. Just one card would be great. Oop, there we go. It's the Six of Wands in reverse. The Six of Wands is whatever the question nagging at you, there's a good chance the answer is yes. You have an eye on what you want, and everything you need is yours for the swatting. All the hard work you've put in is paying off, and your self confidence is well earned. Your passion shows. This is a big win. It's all yours. All right. So this just confirms that if you do end up facing what you've been repressing for so long, or you figure out what you've been repressing so long and you make the steps towards improving it and letting it out and reflecting, you will get over it, is what I'm getting. This card just clarifies that you will be on edge for a bit, but you will eventually get over it and just feel relieved and peace later on. So, to summarize, you've been fighting over something with your brain and your heart, over a situation that's got you in such a chokehold that you either subconsciously repressed it or you're still repressing it and you feel guilty, but you're trying to put it off for as long as possible. But you're trying to take responsibility, but you're scared to do so. You just feel stuck. But if you are able to figure out what you've been repressing or face what you've been repressing, you will feel a little bit on edge, which is normal because, well, I mean, this has got to be something pretty big for it to affect you this much. But if you get over it and you fix your issues, and with this clarifying card, it just proves that if you are able to overcome all these obstacles and truly self reflect and give yourself the time of day to actually try and fix these issues, you will be able to move on and feel good. You'll feel better in the future if you're able to overcome this. And what just popped in my head is communication is key, which is true. It's not only for like relationships you have with other people, it's also for your own relationship with yourself. You have to give yourself the time of day. You have to communicate with yourself. You cannot put off things that are bothering you. That that's just kind of mean. If you think about being in a relationship with yourself, like hypothetically, let's say you are different, you are two people and you keep putting off the issues the other person keeps telling you like, "Hey, I don't like this," or "Hey, I think we should do this." And you keep saying, "No. No. I don't like that. I don't want to. Let's talk about this another day. Let's do this another day." Over time, you're going to burn yourself out and you're going to hurt your partner, aka you yourself. So you got to address these issues as soon as you can. And once you do, you will feel so much peace, you'll feel relieved, and you'll feel overall better. So, Spirit is just saying, really try and take responsibility for the emotions and things you've been repressing. And by doing so, you will definitely feel better. It will feel a little on edge afterwards because, I mean, nobody wants to be confrontational, especially with themselves. So you're going to feel a little shaky. You're going to be like, oh, okay, because nobody wants to be blamed for anything or take responsibility sometimes for things you know you shouldn't have done, but you will feel better in the end. Trust, you will feel better. So spirits, oh, okay. Spirits just saying, just take responsibility, relax. Things take time. So even if you can't do this like immediately, well, you probably won't. This is a journey, so just take your time. But Spirit's just saying, just be aware of what you've been repressing and work on those issues. That is all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed and I hope you find peace and love. And I'm wishing you lots of love, light, and prosperity and good vibes. You can do this, you'll get through this. Have a beautiful day.